So it's the next day, and yes, it happened. We did the double over United. Hold that, United, you plastic fan base. Welcome to my match reaction. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to a match reaction, celebration, analysis, everything you would love to see off yesterday's result. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribed as well. And have you guys checked out my Rival Reacts video yet? Where I trolled our YouTube friends and man, was it good. Man, was it good. If you haven't checked it out, I'll leave it on the end screen, so check it out after this video. All right, we're gonna do like kind of a fun video here because, as you guys know, as I said in the preview, there are two matches I look out for, or two teams, Man U and Spurs. Those are the first dates I'm interested in the Premier League, and we've done the double. In fact, I'm 3 for 3. We just gotta beat Spurs away, and I've got a full bingo card there. I love this season, and it cracks me up that you have so many fan bases from the Cartel 6, by the way, who keep going on about this is the worst season ever. The quality of the football in this league is atrocious. What do you guys think? Is the quality of this league worse, or are they just a bunch of crybabies? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So, a couple of things I want to touch on from the game yesterday. Obviously, we got to start with Elanga, and that goal was, as some of you were saying in the comments yesterday, Collymore-esque. The way he picked it up, 85 meters in, what was it, 8 or 9 seconds. Crazy. That's nearly as quick as me. And I just need to highlight a couple of things here. When you're running that fast, right, and I can tell you this from experience, right, if someone comes in to tackle you, or just a little shove, or if the player next to you breaks wind and it goes in your direction, that can sometimes be enough to knock you literally onto your backside because of the movement and trajectory, because of the pace and everything else. So the balance in Elanga's run, I think, was the thing that stood out to me. And then Garnacho wasn't strong enough, and the strength for him to hold on, because it looked like when Garnacho went down, his pants were pulled down and he was definitely gassing. He still held strong. And then the greediness to shoot, and I mean that in a lovely, loving way, was just fantastic. I love that goal, and I hope he kicks on and on. He's starting to prove me definitely wrong from how I felt about him at the start of this season and last season, and long may that continue. So big shout out to Elanga, massive shout out to Yates as well. I thought he embedded the atmosphere from the City ground yesterday, and he put that energy onto the pitch, and he kind of carried that team in midfield. Look, I still think we were weak in midfield in certain aspects of it, but I don't care. All that matters right now is getting over that line. 65 points minimum is my target, and we are this close to it now, sitting 57 in the table. So that was the positive side, but the even more positive side for me, I don't know if that sentence makes sense, but you get what I'm saying. Murillo's tackle on the line. Look, I don't think it was a masterclass by Murillo yesterday. I thought Milenkovic was the better centre back, but Murillo clearing that one off the line, the way he celebrated it, the way the City ground erupted, and you know, Nuno was asked in his presser afterwards, it was like a goal, wasn't it? Of course it is. That was the difference between 1 point and 3 points. Murillo gained us 2 points. And this is the thing. Football has not changed. The same shaped ball, same coloured grass on the pitch, 2 goals, 1 on either side. The lines on the pitch have all been drawn the same for as long as I can remember. But it's people that are trying to change the way to play the game. And Nunes just said, you know what? Let's do the basics. Let's make sure we defend. Let's make sure we're compact. Let's make sure that when we get a chance, we take it. And that's been the story of our season so far, and long may it continue. I've seen loads of debates today saying, is this sustainable? They're going back to that narrative with Forest. You know, 6 months ago, they were talking about it being sustainable in this season. Now they're saying, all right, we give up. You showed it was sustainable this season. Can you do it next season now? This is the new narrative. And I've been hearing it for a couple of weeks, even on the other podcasts I've been doing with YouTubers. And my answer is simple. Why can't we? Why can't we? Do you really think that when if Forest get Champions League football in the summer, that Marinakis is going to sit on his hands and say, yeah, we're not going to strengthen? Of course he's going to strengthen. We've now got that golden carrot that we can wave in front of players saying, come to the City Ground, play Champions League football. Or would you rather go to Spurs or United and have a relegation battle? You know what I'm saying? So we've got so many positive things going our way. We know Marinakis has been talking in Saudi, trying to get investment and things that will grow the revenue. So things are moving in a very positive direction. So I'm very happy with the way things are. As I said, I think we need one more win. It gets us over the line. We're looking at 1 win and 2 draws, and that gets us 65 points. So 1 win gets us to 60, 2 draws 62, and you can't really count the Leicester game because it's a free win, isn't it? So it's already 3 points. There's your 65 as a minimum. But what's important to note here is that we have this buffer to the chasing pack. And I actually don't think they're chasing us. I think they're chasing each other, if that makes sense. Because, again, I was talking to Ant about this earlier. If we were in Newcastle's position, for example, and I do hope Newcastle get into the Champions League, but they're the team in 6th now. If we were in that position and we're 10 points behind Newcastle, I think most of us are looking at that thinking that's too far a reach. But from 6th to 4th isn't that big a reach. I think almost it's fair to say that Liverpool are in one bracket, Arsenal and Forest are in a secondary bracket, and then the teams from Chelsea down to, I don't know where you want to cut it off, Fulham or Villa or whatever, are in a separate bracket. But, you know, let's not get complacent about it, but that's how it's feeling right now. And for the Newcastle to catch us, they would have to win both games in hand, which would take them to within 4 points of us. Granted, one of those games is against Leicester, but then they would have to better 2 of our results, with one of those being a win. And that's no easy task. And when you look at the likes of Chelsea's fixtures, they are horrible when it comes to the final run-in, and then they've got to come to the City Ground on the final game of the season anyway. And within that, the likes of Villa are pretty much playing everyone in that chasing pack as well. So they're going to take points off each other. And this is why we've put ourselves in such a good position, man. Honestly, I'm loving this season. I really am. Everything about it is just ticking along nicely. Champions League for me now, well, not for me, but for Opta, have scored us as 93% in terms of getting into the Champions League. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? 93%. But what I want us to do is get this over the line quickly. Why? Because then we can start to think about resting players in the run-up to the Man City game in the FA Cup. I still stand firm on what my priorities are, and yours may be different. I mean, everyone's entitled to their priority list. Champions League is number 1 for me. But I now feel stronger about wanting that FA Cup as well. We got to the semi-final, screw it, let's go and win it. You know, I'm sick of this whole, when was your last trophy? You're still hiding behind your 2 stars. So give me a recent trophy, and then they have no argument against us. So give me that trophy. Give us that other day in Wembley. Champions League. What else more could you guys ask for? Nuno is working absolute miracles at Forest, and I love him for it. Let's keep this train rolling on. All right, I'll shut up now. I don't know if you've benefited anything from this video. You probably haven't, but I'm just in a really good mood. By the way, Grumpy Old Reds will be tomorrow night at 6:30 with all the other games going off tonight and tomorrow. That was a nice little slot I found there, so we can carry on watching, you know, the ups and seeing what they're all doing and hopefully dropping points around us. So tune in for that. If you haven't checked the Rivals React video, it's hilarious, if I say so myself. I'll leave it on the end screen for you guys now. And don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, because Forest are going to the Champions League. There, I said it. I'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.